Hi, it's James at Crackshot, and today we're going to be talking about HFT, or Hunter Field Target. So what is Hunter Field Target? Hunter Field Target is a discipline. It was sort of done as a simulated hunting scenario. I would say, yeah, maybe something similar to that anyway. It's a outdoor airgun sport, primarily shot from the prone position if you shoot in the like national shoots, so the UK HFT shoots, for example. They will be shot from the prone position primarily, with a few different positionals like supported kneelers, supported standers. I think they also do unsupported kneelers and unsupported standers as well. So the targets can be a distance between 8 and 45 yards in the UK HFT. You cannot make any adjustments to your scope once you've started, so you'll obviously start the day. If you've got a scope, particularly like this with a parallax, you'll need to have a fixed, you need to choose what parallax you'll set it on, and the shoot that I shot, I had to write in what my parallax was set at and my magnification. This is a fixed 10 scope, so there's not much adjustment on, well, no adjustment on the magnification, so that's one less thing to worry about. But obviously it has got parallax adjustment where you will just need to make sure you're not using that throughout the whole duration of the shoot. In the Swifter competitions, which is our local region, we do have slightly different rules where we will shoot between 10 and 55 yards, but we do allow people to make adjustment to their scope between shots. So you could, so say you sit down, you look at your first target, you can go, I think that's 30 yards, you can adjust your parallax to 30 yards, take your shot. If you then look at your second target, I think that's 50 yards, you can make an adjustment on your parallax to 50 yards and you can shoot. However, once you've looked through the scope at that particular target you're shooting at, so say you've made your judge, you guess, you think it's 50, you look through, you can't see it because you either forgot to make your adjustment or your adjustment was wrong, you will still have to take that shot, and that's down to the actual individual to remember to do that. So with this, there is other rules within the HFT set of rules, so you can't have so from the centre of bore to the centre of the forestock here, cannot be more than 6 inches or 150 mil. So generally you'll see they're a lot more streamlined, and people will get the scopes a little bit closer to the barrels, unlike FT where it's the complete opposite, where people have real deep hamsters and they'll also have a scope sort of 3 to maybe 6 inches at times above the barrel. So they are very different in the way they work. Again, you don't in field target, or in Hunter Field Target, sorry, you shoot prone, so you won't shoot off a bean bag like sat down you would in FT. However, in Swifter we can do that. That's just to help our demographic. So the equipment that's used, something like an Air Arms S400 is a great starting point in HFT. Single shot, lightweight. And it's very, very simple. It's unregulated though, and again, a lot of the HFT shooters will still want a regulated gun for that consistency. Nothing wrong with the consistency on this, it just has a shot curve. So meaning that you'll find that if you say field to 200 bar, it might be low for about 10 or 15 shots before it gets to the sweet spot. It'll be really perfect in that sweet spot until it starts to drop for the pressures just go a bit lower again. And the regulator would just cure that a little bit. And give you a few extra shots and a little bit of extra consistency throughout the whole charge. The next option, which again you'd see a lot of, are these Air Arms HFT 500s. Name suggests it was sort of built for HFT. It was definitely designed with that in mind, with the adjustment on the cheek piece, because again, having a good cheek weld and a consistent mount to the scope is very, very vital. We've also got the accessory rail on the bottom, so you can add the hamsters, and Air Arms have done our hamster, which will coincide with the rules as well, just if you need that little extra depth when shooting. Again, unregulated, they can be regulated, but because you've got the slightly longer cylinder, you will get a slightly better shot charge. Stepping it up, you've got the HFT Challenge by Steyr, and again, name suggests it was sort of built for HFT. So in this one we have got a metal butt hook. Now there is another rule for the hooks, they must be more this shape, and you can't have anything that goes under the arm or over the arm. So this would be a sort of about your maximum. Obviously a rubber butt pad would also be fine, such as this form stock here. Again, we've got a small hamster on the front, and we have got rail. You could change this, you could higher it, lower it to whatever you'd like, as long as it coincides with the rules. This is regulated, and you will get a few more shots on this, which again I think it is a factor that I think a lot of target shooters do like, is to have those regulated guns, just for a bit of peace of mind. But again, there is nothing wrong with the consistency and accuracy from like an unregulated S400 or 500. So the scopes is going to be your biggest issue, or not biggest issue, but probably the biggest thing that you'll combat, is trying to find a scope that fits the bill. No more than 12 magnification. I think a lot of people will probably go a little bit lower than 12 magnification, just to try and get that bigger depth of field. So obviously without making adjustments, it's a little bit hard to keep a decent focus between 8 and 55 yards, 45 yards, sorry. So I think you're trying to get the best of both worlds. You will shoot in a slight bit of blur at some of those extremities, but I think that's to be expected. It's just trying to get a scope that all round does the job. I've actually had a play with this Vulcan Endura. This is a 2 to 10, it's a 1 to 10, but 24 scope. Very, very good. No parallax adjustment on here at all, which keeps things nice and simple. And I found actually, without having the parallax adjustment, I wasn't really looking for it. I never tried to clear up the image, and I really enjoyed the round HFT I did with this over the summer. You've also got something like this, which is a fixed 10 Hawk, so it's 10 by 44. I would say 44 is generally sort of the largest size that you'll go in the front of your scope. I think a lot of people will try and shoot smaller. Obviously there are other people that will shoot larger ones. It just depends on what suits them, and scopes are very particular. You can make a rifle fit you, you can't make a scope work for you really. So again, having that fixed magnification really helps. But yeah, trying to get into HFT, pop along to your local club that does HFT. Again, a quick Google search will pull up the clubs near you where you can get into it, you can get into shooting, and just learning. Best thing to do is get to a club. I cannot sort of emphasise that enough, that going to a club and speaking to people who are doing it, watching people doing it, looking at all different equipment, especially having a try with equipment before you buy, is very important. And then you can get yourself to a shop like Crackshot, come in and have a look at all the different guns that may suit you. Obviously go from our advice of what will help, what will work, and we can try and get you paired up with the correct gun scope combo. Thanks for watching.